Okay, now we're really at episode 10. I lied last time.
That's all right. That's all right. 9, 10, a dozen. Yeah.
I think I had put something in the folder, like I label all of the episodes in folders on my computer. You know, and I had just made a folder ahead of time to stick the video
anticipating. Okay.
in there. So I saw it. I was like, oh, we've already done 9.
10. Wow.
No, so this is episode 10.
This is episode 10.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, another overcast day.
We had a really nice weekend, at least.
Yeah, we did get some incredible blue sky. Yesterday afternoon, man, it was a knockout.
Beautiful. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I peeled myself away from some football and went out for a great walk in the fields.
Is it every weekend with the football?
Every weekend for 52 weeks. No, but we're into the playoffs now.
Yeah.
It was big wild card weekend, and there were every game was amazing.
Okay.
But the Jaguar game was not to be believed.
I couldn't even tell you what state the Jaguars are in.
Florida.
Okay.
I think that's right. They have this young Trevor Lawrence. It's young guy. He's the one with the incredibly straight blonde hair, and he wears a headband.
Okay.
And he made the most amazing comeback, the third best comeback. He was down 27 points, 27-0.
Okay.
And I think this is his second year as a quarterback. So it was really incredible. So I obviously also got a lot of knitting done.
Yeah. That's the thing about watching like any sort of TV, movies. It's sort of the time to knit, for me at least.
Can you knit though and not look at what you're knitting?
Depending on what I'm doing. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've been working on where it's just like kind of plain sweaters, it's like just knit, yeah.
I cannot.
I'll glance down every like 3 or 4 stitches.
I've tried when I know all I'm going to be doing is knitting. And I just don't know how to hold it so that I don't make a mistake. Like you thought you picked the stitch up, but you didn't pick the stitch up.
Yeah, I think I looked down and probably like review really quick like the last couple stitches that I did just to make sure they look okay, but...
I have a lot of friends. Aunt Corey, man, she just...
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point where you can, like, walk and knit yet. People, like, do that, where they've got the little bag of their project, and they're sitting and walking, and I think that's just impressive.
Yeah, so when I say I'm watching football, I'm listening to football.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at what I'm knitting.
Yeah.
And even then, I made a mistake on one. I had to pull out 3 rows, which we'll get to, but... No. Yeah. So, did you have a nice weekend?
It was nice. We did a lot of socializing. It was like a little bit maybe too much socializing.
Ah, okay.
We had what I thought was a pretty open weekend, but then we had breakfast and afternoon and evening plans both days. So I thought I had a lot more time, and then I got a little frazzled about like what am I doing with my time?
Yeah.
You know, the struggle of how to balance childcare and seeing the kid, and also like using what time I have to get some projects done, and then there's the things that have to be done. So
Yep.
The continuous complaints, not enough time and too much to do.
And it's not going to change anytime soon.
No, it's really not. And we are busy with the mill. And then I just this, I think a lot of people listening will probably relate to this, but I have like an endless list of things that I want to make and do, and just finding time to do that, and then not stress out about it because it's supposed to be fun, people.
Right. And I find that I'm working in the mill, and I'm making the list of things that we need in the mill. So then I'm going out on the weekends to go do. It's very hard to not be thinking about the bill, for me anyway. I end up going, I probably should go get this. I'm going to put the labels on some things because I don't have time to do it during the week. Yeah.
It's a lot.
We're not whining though. We're just sharing
where we're at today. And I'm also coming off of like a scary winter driving experience this morning, which everything's fine, but you live in Vermont and New Hampshire, and you learn like someday, like today was the first day I've actually lost traction and slid backwards like many feet with my child in the car, and it was just like, what do I do? Look out the rear view, try to make sure I'm, it was sort of going around a corner at a slow speed because it was very icy, and then trying to get up a tiny rise, and I just lost traction and slipped down the hill, and I had to make sure to not get the trees. Anyways, I was able to regain, pull over, take a second, regain traction off the side of the road and get going. But Nothing is scarier than you just feel like you need to get your. I don't know.
No, not good. It's
no,
not good.
So we're all good now, but it's a little bit stressful. So,
right, and Maeve's fine.
She's totally fine. She was asleep through the whole thing. I was like crying, but she's fine.
yeah, she'll never know.
Yeah, no.
Oh boy. Well, I'm sorry.
It is what it is. Yeah, we all have those days.
Yeah, I do not. Okay, we live in Vermont, and I'm terrified of skidding.
Yeah.
And losing control. Because when I was growing up, no one told me which way do you turn the steering wheel if you're scared. I have no idea. I still don't.
You're a fantastic driver, though.
I crawl.
Yeah, it's great though.
If there's any, not just, well, I was going to say if there's any precipitation, I like hydroplaning.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of hydroplaning. So yes, icy conditions I hate, but even in the summer, if it's a torrential downpour.
But I'll say Peggy is in charge of driving the big truck full of merch into Manhattan in a couple of weeks for Vogue Knitting Live, and I feel full confidence in her ability to do so.
Yeah, that's we're going to be up high. Yeah, it'll be fine. Well, and if it's not, we're going to find out about it. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. So what are you wearing?
We've been trying to wear knitwear, things we've knit. This is not something that I knit.
Okay.
I am so old that I have things that I actually bought that I get to call vintage. This is a vintage Talbot sweater.
Okay.
It's 70% mohair.
Yeah, it's
and
very
the rest
fuzzy.
is acrylic. And I believe it's made in China. I double checked on the label, and I think the expression is called Intarsia. Intarsia. Yeah, where it's not stranded knitting, but you're knitting and then you're doing a twist and then you're picking up another color. So you have blocks of color.
Okay.
But it's not like the orange is behind the red.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've never done it, but it looks very tricky. Like, how do you avoid having holes? And when I put this sweater on, I'm going, this had to have been handmade. I mean, when you see on the inside,
I don't know how machines would do that.
I don't know how machines would do that. And I don't know what this poor, I'm assuming, woman got paid to knit this for a store like Talbot's.
Right. Not a lot. Probably.
Not a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think it's beautiful, and I agree. I have to believe it's handmade. So I had to just remind myself, there was a time when you could actually buy handmade in your stores. Now, someone may know more about this and go, oh no, there's a machine that does it. But this is at least 25 or 30 years old.
Yeah.
And it's warm as all get out because of the mohair. But I put it on because of this process. And I got to be honest with you, I don't feel personally, it's not on my bucket list to do Intarsia knitting.
Yeah, I've never really heard of it. But
when you see, there's a pattern that's out there a lot right now that has big flowers cascading down.
Okay.
That's Intarsia knitting, because if it's a block like this, you're not going to do stranded knitting behind it for 10 rows or 10 stitches.
I was at a birthday party yesterday, and there was a kid that had it's actually I know it was knit by one of our customers, not from our yarn, but I know the kid's grandma, fan of the store. But she knit this sweater that has a big snail on it,
right?
And so it's like a big yellow sweater with I think it's a purple snail, and it's a giant block on the front. And I was thinking, how would you knit that? So
that's Intarsia knitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will have to look that up. It's very cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
that's and you're wearing.
Yeah, I'm gonna start just repeating
part of our origin story. Which
the sweater that I made from Peg's wool way back in the day. Well, now I don't know. It's only like 3 or 4 years ago, but
2018. Wow, time is flying.
5 years ago. Oh my gosh.
Is that possible?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that because I know what happened in 2019. That's for another day.
Yeah.
And it was before that, so that's a mystery.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what you're wearing. That's what I'm wearing.
Yep.
Yeah. So should we talk a little bit about what's going on in the mill?
Sure.
You want to start?
Yeah, so last week we kind of buckled down.
Yeah, big time.
And we've got all these events coming up, fiber festivals, so we had to get our supplies of our inventory up to snuff, and we're still on a mission with it, but we took some time to make a lot of making tracks. Yeah. So I just pulled sort of a couple of things we have sitting in the back, but we've restocked on this lovely sort of aquas, teals, and a little bit of like a burgundy that we're calling the deep end.
Yeah.
So this one...
very popular.
Very popular. We sort of started with our most popular and said, let's make a bunch of batches.
Let's make sure we have enough. And we'd have no idea how much we're supposed to... It's a little nerve-wracking, like, how much should we have anyway?
Yeah, especially for Vogue knitting. And then we have a few things leading
before
up to
that,
Vogue.
right.
But you've been on the phone with folks trying to pin
that down. And here's the thing. We only have 8 spindles, and there's only 24 hours in a day, and we're not willing to work 24 hours in a day. So at this point, it's just, we're going to make as much as we can, and that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, so this was the deep end.
Right.
And then we have, oh gosh, is this one Alpenglow?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't even keep track of
that. Right, no, that's Alpenglow.
Yeah, Alpenglow. So again, we've got some, the base of this is sort of blues, teals, and we've got a little bit of peach going on. And then we have more Valley Fog, which... I'm
loving this new way we're doing Valley Fog. There's no white.
It's great. I think Vicky is the one who's dyeing this one. And yeah, it's less, or it's a little more saturated, but still very neutral.
Right.
Yeah, I really love this one. I got to think of something to do with this colorway. I think it's really
I really like the very first version of this. There was more white in it, so it ended up having a very different look about it. And I really like the way this is.
Yeah, and this
is going.
This is a dead-on match for the last one we
did.
So we're moving towards consistency.
Trying.
So that's just 3. Again, I think we dyed.
I
did a double batch.
Fools.
You probably did 2 or 3 or 4 batches. Anastasia did some. Vicky did some. So we've got a lot of combed Falkland top that's just dyed. It looks sort of tie-dye and it's ready to go.
We got to pin draft it and then get it spun.
Yeah, but this week we actually, speaking of what's in the mill, we did have a bit of a challenge
we did.
with the making tracks, because we switched from finally finished with our first pallets of this comb top that we sourced, which is again a domestic 100% natural wool. It's not super washed, but it's Falkland wool. We source it from a wool distributor
out of Boston.
Gets it from the U.S.
And when we say pallet, you guys know a pallet, like you need a forklift. So we had a roughly 700 pounds, and we have gone through 700 pounds.
Yep. And so we cracked into the new one, and we found out that it is just a different enough from the first one. I think the finished yarn looks exactly the same.
Right.
It's just there was some differences, and it made the spinning.
We had to slow down and go, wait a second, we've got to adjust the dials. Yep. We haven't done the spinner yet. We will tour the spinner soon, but
there's a lot that can be changed.
Right. There are more variables than on and off.
And I think we were very concerned that we were going to have to say, no more making tracks.
Yeah, a little panicky. A combination of a little panicky, and I'm now in the mode of, we've just lost some time. We just lost some more time because we only have so much time to,
But we did figure it out.
Yes.
It just took a little doing. So we are...
we're back on track.
Back on making tracks.
I know. Hokey. So I have, we did do some custom, this feels so great. This is a fin. And not all fin is created equal. This is some of the nicest. Some fin does not have enough crimp, and we've talked about this before, have to add a little comb top. This is an example where we did not have to. It's 100% fin, and it just feels like $1 million. It's got some heft to it. Feel that?
Yeah, it's so lovely. And again, the farmers who grow this wool, they do such a phenomenal job. So we actually, we brought
so this is an example.
Too.
So they brought in 3 colorways. This is the light gray. We have some white that Todd was picking earlier today that'll head in next. This has been scoured. This is going to be their dark. It'll be a very, very dark gray because there is some lighter gray in there. But it's just as soft as the yarn. It just feels, so what you're seeing on the tips, this is where the sun has bleached out. They don't need to jacket their sheep. And so the tips are just a little bleached out from the sun, but that's going to get blended right in, and this is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, it really will. Yeah. And you can just see the amount of care they put in. They're very proud of the yarn that they're able to get from this.
And it's very clean. They don't have to jacket, but they also do a very, very good job of skirting so that what's coming into the mill is immaculate.
Yeah. It's lovely
She
stuff.
says as I'm finding a little speck of grass here and there, but
you won't see any in the finished yarn because it's thin. It doesn't have quite as much crimp as like a Corriedale or a Falkland.
So things can fall away.
Yeah, so there's, I'm seeing very, very little in the finished yarn.
But that lets you know it's real wool from a real farm.
Yeah.
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 It's pretty great.
So we've got a lot. We're not going to be bored anytime soon.
Yeah, no, this is an example when you know that someone's coming to pick it up, you kind of go, can I buy some from you just right off the bat?
Yeah, it's so lovely.
Yeah.
And the luster there is
the
just
luster,
nice.
and it's because it doesn't have a lot of crimp, it's going to be kind of drapey, kind of like alpaca. So I would think a shawl or a really loose sweater, like a cardigan. Yum.
Yes, beautiful.
I don't think they dye. I think they're selling them in the natural colors.
Are they?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's gorgeous.
But speaking of custom processing, well, we had someone stop by, and I once again
ambushed.
That's the word. Ambushed them. I said, "Hey, want to be in our Millcast?" So let us introduce you to Caroline Querrier. She just happens to have our favorite breed, Corriedale, and here's Caroline.
Hi, my name's Caroline Querrier, and I'm picking up some Corriedale yarn from sheep from my farm and some Romney yarn from our friends at the Putney School. Well, with this, my mother-in-law is going to make a sweater for my husband, and I think I might weave a baby blanket with it. And then this is going to fiber art students at the Putney School.
She was a good sport.
Yeah.
She had no idea. She was like there to pay her bill. She was loving the yarn, and it was really cool because she did that ragged again, which we've done with Jacob. And I said, "Can I?" I think she was a little thrown, but thank you, Caroline.
Maybe we need to start reaching out to people ahead of time, saying, "Hey, put on your finest knitwear for your Millcast debut."
Maybe we do need to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to say no.
Yeah, when you're like,
"Yeah,
I've done all this work for you." Now,
right. Yeah, we should.
Well, thank you, Caroline.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so what are you knitting?
Well, should I start knitting or what I'm sewing?
So Amanda brings in a couple weeks ago this extraordinary thing that you're about to see. And I said, "Oh, well, why don't you bring it in for the Millcast?" She goes, "Well, it's not knitting." I go, "Oh, come on." You got to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So over my Christmas break, this is my main project.
Oh my God.
So this is a little coat for Maeve. And it's made out of some remnant fabric from Ibex Outdoor Clothing, where I used to work, when they used to be just down the road from the mill. So it's all merino wool, and I think I have two favorite parts about this coat. One is the toggles, which my husband Cody lovingly whittled these out of a tree that
Can you believe that?
brought down in the storm.
Come on!
And then I cut out some little leather things, and we found some laundry line at our local general store and made our toggles.
You have a special sewing machine. My sewing machine would not have been able to do that.
Yeah, I have it's called a Sailrite, and I got it because I was making a lot of outdoor backpacks. So it's really good on denims and canvases. Not so great on I don't know, silks.
Right.
So it's, but for this sort of thing, it's wonderful. And then my other favorite is the pattern didn't call for doing any serging, but I have a serger, so I go a little crazy with it. And I was just trying to go too fast, and I cut a hole in the lining here with the serger. I got a piece of it.
Yep.
So I put this little patch on there, which
Adorable.
I just think adds a little character. It's I think it's a Japanese thing where they actually want things to be a little imperfect because it shows that it was handmade.
Well, that's interesting.
So that's what I'm
it's
thinking
absolutely
of it. Anyways, I'll put
adorable.
a picture of her wearing it up here.
You have to.
It's really cute, and I'm very proud of it. But yeah, I also sew, and I think since starting the mill, I've done more sewing because it's well, I've been touching yarn all day. I gotta do something different.
Yeah, I love to sew. But it goes in waves for me. I haven't done any serious sewing in a while.
So fast compared to knitting, but it's a little more stressful because you're cutting the fabric.
The last thing I got really into was teaching myself how to do mitered corners and went crazy making napkins with the precision, which is not quilting. I do crazy quilts because there's no precision there.
Yeah.
But I was I had seen some homemade napkins. I was I'm gonna master the mitered corner. But
and
that's
after
the last
you did
thing.
it, I was I gotta try this. So I made some swaddles for Maeve with the mitered corners
Yeah.
too. It was a little more trouble than it was worth. The kid did not
the kid was not appreciating it.
Yeah.
But you are doing some knitting.
But I am doing some knitting. So this is a little sweater for Maeve I'm working on. I think it's called the Alaska. Let me check here. it's called the Alaskan Pullover by, I cannot pronounce this name, but she goes by mamasteddybear.com.
Really
I found it on
cute.
Ravelry, and it's gonna have like a little lace up neck, so there'll be like some tassel lace that'll get wound through here, and it's really simple. It's just in what is this, garter stitch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And neck down.
Yep, neck down. So it was
Really
starting
nice.
back and forth, and it was joined, and then I just used a little bit of scrap yarn to do the contrasting pattern. And the nice thing about this sweater is it's going to be longer in the back, so it's going to have like a little butt warmer.
Yeah.
And
She's going to be so chic at 9-10 months old. Chic.
Yeah, totally. So she gets a lot. I'm a real big fan of our like sheep colored yarns. So this is from our flock of Corriedales that I spun here at the mill.
3-ply.
At some point, I've gotten my mind to make her something a little more colorful, because she does deserve some color at some point. But
and you haven't dyed any of your.
No,
it's really too dark to dye.
Yeah, a lot of it's too dark. So I've got dark brown, black,
right.
light brown, a little gray, because I took some of Peggy's white fleece and blended it.
Wouldn't you knit her something out of making tracks?
Yeah, I think I will. I think that's like next.
Cut loose?
Yeah. I really want to try to. So do you know the pressed flowers pattern?
Oh yeah,
by
yeah,
Amy Christopher's?
Yeah.
That one has been all the rage, and she's our neighbor up the road, actually, in Sharon, Vermont. So she has like hat and sweater and a couple things. I'm sort of dreaming of a vest for Maeve with the pressed flowers.
A pullover vest?
Yeah. So I might combine like just a basics. I wonder, like, I've never done any pattern creating, but I think it would be kind of fun to take the pressed flowers pattern from Amy Christopher's and put it into like a kid's vest.
Cute.
So that might be my next mission, if I can
go for it.
The brain power together. You're much better at changing patterns than I am.
I don't mind coming up with patterns, but I have to say I'm just trying to think if I've done any of my own patterns that was also stranded knitting work.
Well, it's mosaic. I don't know if that matters.
The gauge is the gauge, as long as you're,
I mean, as long as it's either her size or bigger.
Yeah,
as a kid, I'm like, well, if it's a little too big, she'll grow into it.
So I am still.
Yeah, what you got here?
Well, it's going to take me a while. I've already confessed to that, but I'm I told you, football is a good thing. So I'm going to show you a picture, because the pattern said before you break off for the arms, to do the body, try it on the person. Yep. So I had Todd, stand up, and you'll see the picture. And I thought it fit just fine. Then when I actually got it onto needles, I thought, geez, this is huge. But I got out one of his sweaters and I measured it, and I think it was all right. A couple of you guys, thank you, suggested that when I do this, rather than put it on waist yarn to have him try it, to use barber cords, which now I'm realizing they're brilliant, but I didn't have any, so I had to use waist yarn.
Yeah.
So I did the waist yarn, and now I'm starting my way down under the armhole, and it's the same basic pattern that you have going up at the top, which is a combination of moss stitch, diagonal, and what I think is called broken ribbing, and then you just keep repeating it, and you take it all the way down. I will tell you. So
is it 4 different sections repeating?
It's 3 different sections.
Okay.
The very top 4 is those short rows we talked about, so that the shoulder has more. You can see the short rows in the back that are not around in the front.
Yep.
But no, it's just these 3, and then there's a knit a row, purl a row to break up the patterns.
Yep.
But I'm knitting away, and a lot of this is knit and purl, knit 2, purl 2, and my right hand was beginning to really bother me, because when I purl, it's the right word, ergonomic. I'm not ergonomically doing it correctly. So I went onto YouTube to see different ways of how people purl, to think, well, maybe there's a way I should be purling. And I got to tell you, there are some bizarre ways of knitting and purling, and I'm looking at it going, I'm too old to try that one out. I mean, come in from the back, wrap it up, then bring it. I was like, that doesn't look like it. But I'm trying. A lot of them, the tips were to have as little movement as possible, which I can do with the knitting.
Yeah.
But for purl, to get that to hook, I haven't really mastered it. If you have a really great suggestion that's not wacky for speed purling, I'd love to know it.
I would love to know it too, because this one I'm doing in the round now, so every other row is a purl.
Is a purl?
And I was actually thinking the same thing, because I took some time about, don't know, around the time we were starting the mill, and I learned how to knit faster and more, like, I kid you not, folks, I was doing needle in, grab the yarn and like pull it through with my whole hand for 5-6 years of knitting.
Yeah.
And so I finally learned how to tension it on my hand and like flick it.
So are you carrying it on your right hand?
Yes, I'm carrying the yarn on my right hand, and I can, I'm pretty good at doing like ribbing.
Right.
And just at like knitting, but my straight up purling, I think it's not as
Have
efficient.
you ever tried switching and carrying it with your left hand,
When
which
I
I
was
think is
doing
referred to
color
as
work,
continental?
When I was doing color work, I would carry the other one on my other hand. So I was trying to do the 2 yarn and then I couldn't figure out how you do 3 yarn.
There are little gadgets you can wear.
I stole your little gadget for it.
Did it ever work?
Not really.
I think a lot of this is all you got to just keep practicing.
Well, I'm constantly undoing it from my hands and re-tying it like So, but yeah, please send us your suggestions.
I think I may have told you, when I learned to knit, I was carrying it with my right hand, because my mom did that. And, somewhere maybe in high school, or maybe it was in college, somebody said, you could knit a lot faster if you carried it in your left hand. And I was like, really?
Well,
and so I just started with a
right hand then.
All the right hand's doing is, let's just stick with knitting. All the right hand's doing is putting it in, and then the left hand's doing it. I can whip knitting, the knit stitch.
Yeah.
The purl, it's still pretty fast, but it's not nearly as fast as how fast I can knit.
Okay.
You should give it a try.
I should. I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but like you learn to do something one way, and there's just so much startup energy to like figuring out a better way to do it. And then you do it and you're like, oh, I wish I would have done this for all these other projects. I felt that way about learning Italian casting on and binding off, where like you get that really stretchy. I wish I had it for all of my ribbed edges now, because it's just so much nicer to know this. Or long tail cast on, like I was doing the backwards loop method for forever, and I finally learned that, and I was like, who knew? Weaving in ends.
Yeah.
There's like some really helpful advice on the internet about how to do that. But I was I had ends poking out the front side constantly, and I'm anyways.
So much still to learn. I think it's a little tough. I'm going to be 65 soon. I think it's a little tough to teach old dogs new tricks. Like if somebody said, okay, it's like these purl stitches that I look at going, I am too old to master that version. I think a little adjustment could go a long way, because it's right along here when I was doing the purling.
Yeah.
And you're doing that repetitive motion.
Right. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So I would kind of try and rearrange myself and whatever. Yeah. So that's what I'm knitting, and I'm making progress.
You're making very fast progress. Well, I'm impressed.
As long as there's football, it's all good. And I think we have one more week. Yeah, we have I don't forget what they call it, but there's another big weekend of multiple games.
Yep. So but you got something else going on this weekend.
We should. Yes, I will be going down late Saturday afternoon, staying with a very dear old friend and dear old friends, Mike and Nancy. Because I will be in Wayland, Massachusetts at the Russell Garden Center, which is in Wayland, and it's these big greenhouses, and gosh, I want to say there's at least 50 vendors there. I've done it now a couple of times, so Junction Fiber Mill will be there. If you're at all looking for something to do on Sunday, I think we looked it up, it's 10:30 to 3, I think are the hours. Double check on their site, Russell Garden Center. It is fun, because you're warm in this greenhouse. You got the smell that greenhouses have, which is yummy, and then there's all this yarn. It's crazy. And then there's a couple of food vendors.
It sounds like a mini fiber festival. Is that kind of the vibe?
Oh yeah.
It's like a farmer's market / fiber festival.
There's no farmer's market. I mean, it's all fiber. It's all. Let me think. Is it all farm? I think all the vendors are from farms.
Except us.
Well, Savitchart Farm and. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be there. Don't let that out. Actually, I'm going to be sharing the booth with another good friend.
Peggy and I are both farmers, so it's fine.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's the beginning of the gauntlet that we're about to enter. We're with 4 different fiber festivals. This will be the first of 4, which will be great.
Yeah, and then, I'm thankful that you are taking it on to go down there. And
I think these one-day ones, you get in there, you get in there, load. I'll probably get there about 7:30 or 8. I've got the setup down, and break down, hit the road.
Yeah. And then,
We should mention, we did have an open house on Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
We forgot to take any photos, so
yeah, no photos.
Sorry for that, but
so,
thank you to those who stopped by. It was great to see you.
And I love there were a good number of people who came purely because they wanted to get the tour, which makes me very happy.
It's just kind of what it's for. I mean, it's there to sell yarn as well, but we really want the community, or if you can coordinate a trip up to our area that goes with an open house.
It's just a lot of fun because, and it's even great when the guys come. They they have no interest in knitting, but they know they're going to be looking at equipment.
Yeah, totally.
And there was one guy, man. He wanted all the details. He stumped me though.
Oh, what was the question?
Well, his dad, I think, had worked in mills at one time, in a carding mill, and he said, "What's the origin of carding?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." I mean, I know there were the boards, but why were they called carding boards? I don't
know either.
I know we shouldn't even be bringing it up if we don't know the answer, but maybe
you know what the answer.
What's the origin of the word carding?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's some 12th century something.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tuning in this week. And hopefully we'll see you. Oh, and by the way, speaking of open houses, my brain's all scattered. We have another one in February. I think it's February 24th and March 24th. So those are Friday nights. If you missed this one and you want to come.
Yeah. And again, if you're anywhere in the Boston area, come on out to Wayland. I think it's off of Route 30, and come say hello.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.